Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson. And as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you for taking out time from your busy day to spend with us. Hopefully, prayerfully, we'll share some information with you that will improve your quality of life. So, Michael, thanks again. I'm glad you're back. We were able to continue the conversation that we were having last week. And for those who are joining for the first time, our guest is Michael Cech. And Michael is actually he has 40 years of experience as a career journalist, a government official. Yes, we have a government official on here, and an international corporate executive. But what brings Michael here today is not business, although I'm sure he could talk about it probably without an issue. But we're here to talk about Sandy Hook. If you remember 2012, Sandy Hook Elementary School that is in Connecticut, Newtown, Connecticut. And we're here to talk about that. His wife, Yvonne, who was a librarian at the time of the Sandy Hook mass shooting, and who I mentioned last week, and I'm going to mention again, is a true hero. His wife took 22 people. She is responsible for saving 22 people. She took them into a closet there in the library, kept them safe, kept them calm. And so that's what we're here to talk about. And Michael, I know that you have something that you want to show us. You have some slides. I talked about them last week, not really, but I talked about an audio that just rocked my world. And I'm going to leave that up to you to do the setup. And I'm jumping in because I want us to have as much time as possible. So, Michael, thank you again for being here. And I turn the floor over to you.
Pastor Jackie, thank you again. It's an honor to be here. And what I'll do, I hope everybody can see my screen. Tell me if you can't. But what I'm going to do is just walk you through some slides because I think it's important between the slides and the audio tape. I show this to give people as best an idea of what happened in the school that day. And the reason why I think that's really important is that, we tend to look at mass shootings on TV and we think we have all the facts and we think we know what's going on because the reporters do a reasonably good job of telling us what happened. But there's there's no second chance to see what happened firsthand inside something like this. So I'm going to show you, then this is starting off a picture of the school that day and the police presence that came around afterwards. Uh, the building, the Sandy Hook community is a village inside the town of Newtown. It has its own elementary school, its own firehouse, its own little downtown area, but it is part of Newtown. Now, the building itself, and I'm going to use my cursor on my computer to show you a little bit. This is the front entrance to the school right here. You come in. This is the office, as you would always see in the school, right? And there's basically four major corridors. The shootings and the deaths all occurred in this small front hall area here. But you could hear the gunshots, you could smell the gunpowder, and as you're going to see, my wife came face to face with the gunman, even though she was working here running the library at Sandy Hook, as she did back then. The children, there were 20 students killed that day. They were all between the ages of 6 and 7 years old. They were all in first grade, and they were all in rooms 8 or 10. In room 8, all of the occupants of that room died that day. In room 10, there were 6 students who died and the 2 teachers. The others, unfortunately, witnessed that and then were able to escape. Room 9 is where there was a meeting going on of the principal, Don Hochsprung, the school psychologist who was there, Mary Sherlock, and the lead educator who was, as you're going to see in a second, was there as well. In total, there were 6 people in that room having a meeting about a mother who was there to get an educational program for her kids. The mother had triplets in the school. And thankfully for her and them, they were all in second grade, not in first grade, because all the murders happened here were in first grade, not in second. So as you're going to see in just a second what happened, and I'll just give this quick layout, and I'm going to show you some pictures and play you an audio tape. The gunman came in here, shot his way through the front glass, came in here. The principal, Dawn Hochsprung, who, by the way, was my wife's, one of my wife's best friends, if not her best friend. Dawn came running out, followed by Mary Sherlock, followed by the lead educator. The three of them came out here. The gunman shot three of them. Um, the first two died, and the third one was badly wounded, and that's going to play into that. Then he went into the office, and people were hiding under their desk, terrified. Then he came out and went into classrooms 8 and 10, which were having trouble getting locked. Uh, those people, the carnage happened there. He then went down this hallway, and this is where my wife saw him, was when he was standing in this corner, but we'll get to that in just a second. So going forward, this is the front entrance, and it was this picture was taken after the shooting, so that's why the door is open. It was locked. The door was locked. It was 9:35 in the morning, and he just simply shot out the glass window, walked through there, and came into the front hallway. So this was Dawn and Mary. They were the first two who came out. Dawn, when she heard the shooting, said, "What the hell was that?" Gunfire, and jumped up and ran out. We know because of ballistic tests that were run on her sweater, where they lined up the bullet holes, obviously posthumously. They realized that she was reaching out for the gunman at the time that the shots were fired. And anybody who knows Dawn knows that she was trying to tackle the guy and disarm him. And then Mary went down after Dawn. Natalie Hammond was the lead teacher, and so these were the top three people, managerially speaking, for Sandy Hook, were all immediately more or less, taken away from the picture, and so the entire leadership of the school was compromised right at the very beginning. Now, Natalie, as you're going to see, and this is one of the, if probably the most graphic photo from the photos that were released by the Connecticut State Police after their exhaustive investigation into the shooting. She went back into room 9, and here you can see actual, blood stains on the floor. And she was sitting in the corner, around this corner in the side, and you're going to hear this on this audio tape in just a second. The mother of the triplets is the person you're going to hear on the phone with the 911 operator. And she was literally laying on the floor right here as this door was closed. Now, there's no lock on this door. The gunman is across the hall shooting. You will hear gunshots. They sound like hammering, but it's actually the gun going off. And I don't think I need to say anything else. You're going to hear the rest of it right now.
State police emergency. Is this the shooting in Newtown?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you have anybody with you right now? Do you have any children with you?
I have no children. I have 5 adults, and one's been shot twice.
One's been shot twice. Where are you?
I'm in the first conference room.
Okay. Are they breathing and talking to you?
She's breathing, but she's barely.
Okay. Do you know where the shooter went?
He's right outside the door.
The shooter is outside the door.
God, he's shot 100 shots. He must have some big
The shooter is outside the door? Okay, where are you in the building, ma'am?
When you come in the door, make a left, room 9.
Okay, can you see the shooter?
No, I can't. We're on the floor.
All right, I'm going to connect you with Newtown. Stay in the line. They're probably not going to pick up right away, okay? I'm going to stay on the line with you. Do you understand? Can you put pressure on? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Here, he's outside the door.
Ma'am, do you have a description of the shooter?
No, I do not.
You don't. You didn't see the shooter?
No.
You just have a woman that was shot. Can you do you know how to administer first aid? No. Can you put pressure on her wounds?
No.
To stop? You can't. What's going on? Talk to me.
He's fucking right outside the door. I don't want to move.
He's outside the door. What building are you in, and what's the room number?
Room 9.
Room 9, he's outside her door right now. They have a person that was shot with them. Okay, just stay with me, okay? What's your name? Ma'am? Okay, stay with me. My name is Karen, okay? I'm not going to go anywhere. Can you see them? Can you give me any idea where they're headed? Do you have your door barricaded?
No.
Just need all you to speed advise we're working on an active shooting in Newtown right now. We are working on an active shooting at a school in Newtown right now.
Okay, ma'am.
Please send somebody, please. I have
They're on the way, ma'am. Just try to stay calm with me. Can you see him or no?
No, I'm on the floor, honey. I can't.
Okay, all right. Is there a way that you lock the door?
No, there's no lock here.
Okay. Okay, all right. You're in room 9. Can you see them or no?
No, I'm on the floor.
Okay, all right. Just stay where you are. Okay, you said you have a bunch of adults with you, including one that was shot.
1, 2, 3, the 6 of us.
There's 6 of you, and one was shot.
Twice.
Twice. Is she bleeding badly, or is she breathing?
Natalie, how are you? She's breathing. She's breathing.
Okay, just stay with me, please. We have somebody on the way.
Please hurry, please hurry, please hurry.
They're on the way. Just try to stay calm, please.
Please hurry. Please hurry.
You've got to stay calm with me. You can't see them from where you are?
No.
Okay, all right. Just try to stay calm. Don't panic. I know it's hard. You've got to stay calm for everybody in there with as well as yourself, all right? Do you have any idea who the shooter is?
None whatsoever.
You've not seen the person. Does Natalie know who it is?
Natalie, do you know who it is? No.
Okay. Would the person just come into the building?
Yeah, all of a sudden we were in a meeting and
You were in the meeting? Okay.
and Dawn and Natalie, principal and vice principal, went outside and she came running back in. She's been shot twice.
So
At this point, this got me money down.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just stay with me, okay? I'm not going to hang up, I promise. All right.
Please.
The name of your school is
Sandy Hook School.
Sandy Hook School. Okay. All right. So you were right in the middle.
Please, Jesus.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Please, Jesus.
Just try to stay calm, okay? All right?
Please, Jesus. Please, Jesus.
Okay.
Please, Jesus. Please, Jesus.
Okay. All right. You're going to be all right. Listen to me.
I
Okay? You got to listen to me. Take a deep breath. Okay? Think of your children. Okay? Remember their faces. Try to stay calm. You got to stay strong for them, okay?
Are they here? Are they here?
They're there on scene, but I don't want you going anywhere. Okay, just stay where you are until we can find out exactly where the person is. Just stay down, stay calm. Is everybody in the room calm with you as well?
They're very calm. I'm not so calm.
Okay, well, you've got to stay calm, okay? Look at them and then think of your kids, all right? You want to see them again? You've got to stay calm. Try not to move, all right? And I can even imagine what you're going through right now, but you've got to stay calm with me, okay?
Dude, I'm just a mom. He's a worker. He's in school.
I know that. Don't be concerned about them right now. You be concerned about yourself and the people in the room with you. Just make sure that Natalie's okay. If you can, are you near her?
One of the teachers just went to her. She's not okay.
She's not okay.
She's bleeding bad.
Okay. You just gotta stay calm.
She can talk. She can talk. So she's breathing.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So that is an audio that I still find it tough to listen to, but again, it brings you about as close as you're going to get to what happened in Sandy Hook that day. I'm just going to spend a second telling you what happened to my wife in particular. So she was running the library that day. The gunman, after he did what he did in the front hallway, walked up this hallway and was standing in this corner. My wife, during the episode, her responsibilities amongst them were to make sure that all the doors were locked. So she locked the 2 main doors here, and she went over to lock the last door, which was the computer lab door. This is the computer lab. There was a separate door there. Now, mind you, the 18 students and the 4 adults, including my wife, were in their lockdown position, their pre-assigned lockdown position, which was in between 2 shelves of books, just in the library, just sitting in between 2 shelves of books. That was the lockdown location. When she went over to lock this door, she was reaching from inside around the back of the door, trying to put her key in the lock, and it wasn't working. And she leaned a little bit further out, and something caught her eye down at this end of the hallway. she turned and looked and she saw a man standing there. And when her head turned and looked, his head turned and looked right at her, and their eyes met. She would tell me later when I got home that he was tall, thin, wearing all black clothes. He had a vest on, a camouflage vest, a black hat, and a rifle. And I told her, I said, sweetheart, I don't think you saw a police officer. I think you saw the shooter. And it would take too long to go into the explanation as to why, but there were no other people in the school at that point in time who had guns. It was only the shooter. So that's who she saw, unfortunately. So she, not knowing who it was, she saw the rifle, knew there was a problem. She came back here with her, she came back here to the kids and to her other staff adults and made the decision to move everybody through the library kitchen into a back storage closet because she knew she could lock this door and she was having trouble locking that one. So she got everybody in there. They waited for an hour and a half for the SWAT team to come in. It was while she was in this closet that she somehow had the wherewithal to text me in Germany, where I was waiting to fly home. And the text, which I'll never forget, said, in case you hear shooting in our school is real, I'm okay, locked in the closet with Marianne and Cindy and 18 kids. That was the first notification I got of Sandy Hook that day, and it would be 15 hours before I would be home and able to hug her. So the SWAT team came in and did their thing, and unfortunately, at that point in time, as they're bringing the kids out, the school was not secured. The shooter had committed suicide in one of the two classrooms down here, but they thought at that time there was a second shooter. So as the kids are coming out here to a back entrance in the school, there are a slew of police officer, gunmen, sharpshooters on their knees, aiming rifles down this corridor as the kids are going by. And my wife said, there's no way they're not going to run in front of officers who are kneeled down. I want a standing row of officers to take any bullets, should there be any, while the kids are going by. So they did that. The kids came out, they ran down the driveway to the Sandy Hook firehouse where everybody was waiting. This is including the parents who were waiting for their children to come out. When my wife came down, she's the last one who brought live children out of the school that day. When they came out, parents were yelling at her, where is so-and-so, where is so-and-so? And she said, I don't know, but have faith. We were just, locked in this closet for an hour and a half. They're going through the school. They haven't finished, just have faith. Well, the other parents would soon realize that their children were not going to be coming out. And I have some photos. First of all, this is a picture of the actual closet where the kids and the staff were hidden. This was taken from that little kitchen. And that's the picture of the door that went into the storage closet. This was the scene at the Sandy Hook firehouse, and I highlighted this because this is where the yellow police tape was, and nobody was allowed beyond that up the driveway to the school. So my wife and all the kids came down here, and parents were breaking through the yellow tape to go hug their children who were coming out. This was what it looked like at that yellow tape, as people were just mulling around waiting for word. And then once they found out, here are four sort of telling photos of what it was like. Her sister was one of the teachers who was shot and killed. Her son was shot and killed. Her daughter was shot and killed. And her son was shot and killed. This is the semi-automatic weapon that the shooter used. When they found his body, either on his body or right nearby, was all of this ammunition, pistols, and just an incredible amount of, I guess you would call it, firepower. And I always show this photo. This was taken by the Connecticut State Police. You can see the bullet hole in his hat after he shot himself in the head. And I just show that because I just feel personally that's something that people just need to see. So this is the photo of the 20 students and the 6 teachers and adults and staff members who were killed that day at Sandy Hook. And so Let me stop sharing the screen now and just say thank you for your attention.
Um, just like yesterday, listening to the recording, it froze me. I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's telling. Um, Looking at the photos of all the children and the adults. Man, I don't really know what to say. I'm be honest, and I this is my first time looking at it. You sent this to me, so I've seen it, and it's just, you know, my heart goes out even still, because somebody may go, it was 8 years ago, and people not understanding that the way gun violence, the trauma that hits you, you said it in the other show. It could be a television show. It could be a smell. You could be at a presentation and someone says a bullet point, or we're going to take a shot at it. Let's take a shot at this restaurant, and that can come back and hit any of the survivors at this point. And my heart goes out to all the ones, parents who lost their children. My heart goes out to every parent around the country, around the world, who has lost a child, who has lost a husband, a love, who has lost. I hate to use the word lost, and we try not to use lost in every town as well. So every parent, family member, friend who's had their loved one murdered by senseless gun violence, something that we can do something about, but we have politicians who won't. And I'm not going to get into that, because then I'll get really mad, and that's not what we're here for. I wanted to ask, and I was kind of trying to write some notes, and as I was writing, actually, you covered some of the things that I did want to ask about. But Natalie Hammond, so she's the one who survived. And do you all have any contact with any of the other families? I know I was in DC last year for one of the HR bills. I don't remember which one that was up they were talking about in Congress, and some of the parents from Parkland were there, and they have this group, and they kind of travel together and speak. Are the Sandy Hook families still connected, or is it too painful to deal with and don't want to relive it?
So there's a couple of answers to that question. Yes, still connected. We used to live in Newtown. Yvonne had we used to kid about it. She had an 8-minute commute, and I had an hour and 45-minute commute to my business. And that's when I finally said, sweetheart, we got to move a little bit closer to mine. So we moved to Danbury, a couple of towns over, literally in August of that year. And then in December was the shooting. So, and not living in the town does have an impact on how much we're connected with it. I mean, obviously with social media and friends and all that, we stay connected. But when we were there, and when we go back for the anniversary and all that, you're right back in it. And of course, my wife continued to work there. She went right back to school and helped out.
Oh, she stayed at.
Yeah, she did. So the school was shut down. A neighboring town took a school that they had mothballed because they were closing it, and they took it out. And in a week, they converted a middle school into an elementary school, putting like stools up for sinks so the kids could get up to the sink because they were short and all. Just great stuff. And the community where I was just wonderful. Monroe, Connecticut, just the best town in the world. They took care of all that. My wife went back, and she stayed there, I think, for 3 or 4 more years. I really wanted to make sure that the kids who were there that day got through and got out of the school. And then she went on to other jobs. But there's unfortunately a little cottage industry that has grown up around mass shooting now. And they kind of go from mass shooting to mass shooting, everything from psychologists to urban planners to school designers, and just it's kind of creepy, frankly, but it's the world we live in.
Right.
They they're able, at Sandy Hook. I remember the first weekend, President Obama came up, and they say that he gave his Gettysburg Address that day. It's still probably the most memorable speech I've ever heard a politician give was that speech at the Sandy Hook High School that he came and gave that day. But the point was, in the first 24, 48 hours, they had to pull everybody together. At first, they were just going to send everybody back to school, and there was an uproar. They were like, "What, are you kidding?" And so they came together, and I remember all these specialists were coming in, and they had been to other mass shootings. They had been, to Colorado and Virginia, and they kind of, Columbine and Virginia Tech, and there were certain little things they knew would
Right.
happen, and they could give you a projection. And when I realized this, I said, "This is a sickness. This is an illness. This is showing us that as a society, if this is now all of a sudden this is the new norm, that's not for me personally acceptable." And that's why I agree with what you said in the first show. Not here to throw people's guns away. People have a right, but they do have a responsibility to keep that gun out of the wrong hands. And just like you
Absolutely.
car keys to a drunk person, you don't give your gun to certain people, and we have to do better at this. It's, as you said, it's 100 people a day die from gun violence. And in my research, by the way, going back to
And I
1978.
just got to tell you, we got about a minute.
Okay, sorry.
want you
Well, last thing I'll say is it's almost like clockwork. We kill in this country 30 to 35,000 people a year and have since 1978. And the only time that went down like this was when they had the 10-year federal assault weapon ban in effect. As soon as the ban expired, it went right back up.
went back up. Michael, man, there's so much we could talk about. I really, again, appreciate you being here. And we hopefully will be able to get you back again. Listen, again, if you have experienced gun violence, and I'm talking fast, I know, because we're going to run out of time, but text, get your phone out, text survivor 63344 if you are a survivor, 64433 if you are a survivor. We want to thank you for taking out time to spend with us. We look forward to seeing you again. I mentioned before that we're going to do a show about different handicaps or things that people have. You know, my eye moves, and I want people to feel confident to get out there and still do what you want to do. Don't let that stop you. It doesn't stop me. I can still see. I can just see a wider range.